Hi guys. I don't know about you, but the weather around here has not been so great for the last week or so. A lot of rain, a lot of wind, even the odd snow and hail and sleet showers. Yeah, been pretty miserable. I have wanted to do that walk into Manchester. I still haven't done it. I did go to stop there the other day, but it was so muddy, I just didn't fancy getting off the boat there in shoes to walk into the village. I could wear my wellies, but then I've got to walk into the village with my wellies on, and I didn't want to do that either. I don't mind up and down the towpath in the wellies, but not once I get onto the road and walk down into the road. So I still haven't been to Manchester, and also it was very windy that day, so it would make filming very difficult. Now, I've had some of you out there, Mark being quite recent, has been on about why don't I do cooking videos anymore. I sort of stopped doing them because people seem to lose a lot of interest in them, but if people want them, I'm going to bring you another one. And as I can't really get off the boat to film a nice video for you, I decided I was going to bring you a cooking video. Well, this is basically a vegetarian curry. It's a vegetable curry, which I normally cook as a side dish when I'm having something like chicken wings or something like that, a little spicy or some tandoori chicken on its own, and I'll make a little vegetable curry as a side dish to go with it. But today, I'm going to actually make it as a proper meal. It is basically a vegetarian curry. The way I make it, it's not actually vegan, but it'll be very, very easy to adapt to vegan. Basically, just miss the butter out. But I do like the butter. It just gives it that extra little bit of flavour. But of course, you could use vegetable ghee, and then you wouldn't have the problem anyway. I just don't have any vegetable ghee on the boat. Actually, I haven't bought ghee for quite a long time because it's quite expensive. So let's get on with the cooking. Let's get to the prep area and see what we're going to cook. One thing I've already done actually is I've prepped most of the vegetables ready. I've peeled them so they're ready just to go. Pretty sure you all know how to peel a vegetable. If you don't, you probably wouldn't be watching a cooking channel or a cooking video anyway. So let's get to the prep area and continue with the video. So here we are in the prepping area. I have my board out, knife, piece of ginger, a couple of cloves of garlic, and the vegetables I'm using today have some carrots, a parsnip, a sweet potato, a red and a brown onion, and a couple of potatoes which I've only washed, I haven't peeled, some mushrooms and some green beans. Now I would normally also put in this a red pepper or something like that, but I don't have one, so it's not going in. The other thing that I'm going to use, I have a broccoli here, and I'm going to cut the stalk off the broccoli and dice up the stalk, and that's going to go in as well. Then I will use the florets for a vegetable dish, probably to go with my roast at the weekend. So let's get on with the rest of the prep now. I'm going to put the camera in its holder so I can free up my hands and continue. So into my wok, we're going to add some olive oil and a knob of butter, like so. Then we're going to just start warming that up. While that's warming up, and we'll get our onion ready. The skin there. I'm cutting up everything quite small for this. It's the way I like it. So we'll start adding the onion in. Now you've noticed I have all the vegetables raw. You can cook some of the root vegetables if you want to speed the process up. I'm not going to, because I'm going to finish it off on the stove. So it's not going to cost me anything to have it cooking. so it's going to go onto the stove. Now I don't want this too hot. I'm just going to turn it down a little bit. I don't want to burn the butter as it starts to warm through. Just going to mix that in a little bit. I just want it to start softening up on a low heat there at the moment. And while that's just softening up, let's do the garlic and ginger. Now, just to help this go a little bit, I've actually run out of sea salt, so I'm using table salt, but I'll get some as soon as I get back to the store. Just a little bit of salt on this. Just helps with the cutting. It helps to allow all the flavours and juices to come out. I'm just going to increase the heat slightly on the onions. I want them to actually fry, not boil. I just want them to warm them through first. This is where the salt helps. It's when I mash it down a bit, make it more of a puree. The salt adds as an aggregate to grind it a bit. This has probably become a staple for me for the near future. I think meat might be off my shopping list for a while. Today I had a bit of a disaster. I got up this morning and started the engine. I knew my starter battery was getting iffy, but as it tried to start, yeah, battery started making all sorts of fizzing and popping noises and all sorts going on, and the cables to the battery started smoking. So yes, not a good start to the day today. So I need to come in and cook a bit of therapy. There's my ginger and garlic pulp ready to go. The onions are just starting to soften up there a little bit. I'm just going to turn them up fractionally. They're just starting to caramelise a little bit there now. It's just what we want. And I'm going to add my garlic and ginger. Just stir that in. Starting to cook. We don't want to burn it, so that's what we want to do, is burn the garlic and it'll go bitter. That's why the heat's not right up high. And now to that I'm going to add 2 teaspoonfuls of curry powder. Use any curry powder you like, use your favourites, but you don't have to make it as strong. But I'm going to add 2 teaspoonfuls, 2 heaped teaspoonfuls as well of curry powder. I'm also going to add 1 teaspoonful of garam masala, and I will be making this into a red curry, so I'm going to just add a tiny little bit of paprika, 1/4 teaspoon if that. I meant turmeric, and I add 1 teaspoonful of paprika, big heaped teaspoonful. In fact, I'm going to add 2. And I could add chili powder if I want to make it hotter, but I don't. I'm using the Madras curry powder already, which as a curry to me is absolutely perfect. So let's get that stirred in and frying off, because we want all that. We want all the spices to fry off a bit. We don't want them being raw. And oh, you just start to smell them now. It's absolutely fantastic. I used to always make my own curry powder, but the bought ones are just so good these days. And to that, we're going to add some water. Just basically making it in here, as you can see, it's a paste. And as I said, this is going to be a red curry. So I'm also going to add some tomato puree. It's a bit thick, so we're going to add a little bit more water. You could use vegetable stock, but I just didn't have any, and to be honest with you, I couldn't be bothered to make any today. Sometimes I take all the peelings and everything and just make a stock out of it. So we're starting to look good here. Right, so now we're going to put the potatoes in. I'll just turn that back down again. I'm going to make all my vegetables quite small. They'll cook a bit quicker that way. And also the potatoes, if we make them fairly small, the starches come out and it'll definitely thicken the sauce. There it goes. The potatoes in. We'll just give those a stir. It's still too thick, so we'll add a little bit more water here. It will cook down later. And for the carrots, once again, I'm going to make them small, so I'm going to coarse my carrots. Parsnip, I'm going to put it off there, and smaller bits can go in as rounds. There's half moons, and then once again the thicker bits I'm going to quarter. And the sweet potato, I love sweet potato in the curry. It's going to basically dissolve in the curry, and as it does so, it's going to sweeten the curry and thicken the sauce. Once again, we have a few whole bits left at the end, but not very much. And just touch that up a bit. Increasing the heat a little bit again, cooking a little bit. This was served 3 to 4 people, especially if you're serving it with rice. And now right at the end, you can get my green beans and mushrooms. So you can use basically any vegetables you want that you've got to use up. Oh, I know what I forgot. My broccoli. What I'm going to do there, let's clean the knife. I'll put the knife down through there, like so. So we've got the broccoli crown left for using, as most people would only use that bit. And I'll take off the very end piece. And we're just going to dice it up small again. Why waste such good food? You're going to get all the nutrition from the broccoli in there, and it gives another flavour and another sort of bit of crunch and dimension to your curry. You could put the florets in as well. You could put cauliflower in. Basically put whatever you want in. I've always got the root vegetables on the boat, so they are the staple for going in straight away. I'm just going to add a touch more water to that. It's going to cook for a while. And I basically just let this cook down. So I've just added a drop more water to it. And I've just get it back to the heat. Get it hot. Then I'm going to transfer it into a saucepan. Just get that hot. I want to bring it back to the boil because I'm going to be putting it onto the stove, and the stove's not that hot today because it's not particularly that cold in the boat, so I've only got it sort of going quite slowly. So I want it to start off hot, if you know what I mean, so it doesn't have to try and get it hot. But the stove being at the temperature it is, this should simmer quite nicely on there, we hope. So I'm using my two-handled pan for this. It means that it doesn't stick out over the fire, so if I happen to walk by, I'm not going to knock the handle and knock it off in case I forget to put the handle around out of the way. That's just coming back to the boil now, which is where we want it. So most of the cooking is going to be done on the stove. You can add any other flavours to this if you wish to. If you wanted to add extra coriander or cumin, just add it in, or even extra garlic. It's entirely up to you. I'm just giving you the basics to how I normally go around making a vegetable curry. And I don't make it the same every time. Actually, I've probably never made it the same twice ever. Basically, because I go through the fridge and see what I've got in the fridge which needs using up. Like I had green beans in there today that needs using up, and some mushrooms that's needed using up. So guess what? They're going in the curry. Right, that's hot enough. So I'll keep this in shot. I'm not sure if I am, but let's transfer this into here. Try not to make too much of a mess. So there it is, nice pan full of curry there. Let's get the lid onto that and get it onto the stove. So there we are, it's on the stove. So while that cooks away, I've got some time to spare, of course. I will bring you back to the finished product. I'm not sure if I'm going to serve it with rice or what today, I haven't decided yet. I might just put it with rice and just have a vegetable curry. As I was saying earlier, it's a bit of a disastrous day today. Yeah, battery this morning was fizzing and popping, and the cables from the split relay to the batteries were smoking. I'd caught it in time, disconnected it all. I've been and got a new battery. Yes. Hence I'm going to be eating a lot of vegetables and no meat for a while. £155 worth just had to come out of the kitty today for a new battery. Oh, that hurts. Not only that, I've also ordered all new wire to make new cables up, and that was another £12 something for 2 meters of wire, which should be here tomorrow. Meanwhile, I've actually really gone to town with the insulating tape and wound it all the way around all the wires, which are a little bit not very good. And I've kept an eye on it. I did charge the engine, or not charge the engine. I did run the engine to charge the batteries earlier, and I basically sat out there watching it, making sure nothing was going wrong. And I kept touching the cables, my fingers, and they were stone cold. So obviously not a problem now, but there's obviously a problem from the battery. I'm not sure what it's shorting back through. I'm not sure what it is doing. I don't understand batteries that well. I just know they either work or they don't work, basically. And they got nasty today. But there was no fire, just smoke. So anyway, we're going to leave that here for a little while, and we'll rejoin in a couple of hours, actually, because I'm going to leave that curry on the stove cooking for a couple of hours. And we'll come back and see how it's doing in a couple of hours' time. Catch you all soon. Well, I've just taken it off the stove, put it on a board. Let's see what we got. It's steaming well, isn't it? Give it a little stir. Oh, that's looking good. And it's thickened up. That's the sweet potato as it breaks down into it. Really does do it a treat. Well, it's actually taken about 2.5 hours to cook on the stove tonight because the stove wasn't very hot. So I'm only going to have a little sample just to taste it. And I'm going to actually have this for tomorrow. I actually made myself a sandwich tonight instead. So I'm going to dish up a little bit so we can try it. So I'm just going to use this spoon. Put some into a bowl. Like so. Let's go and sit down and try it. So I've come in, sat down at the dinette. Got my bowl. Let's try it, shall we? You can taste the individual vegetables. Bit of carrot there. Taste the carrot. Lovely. And taste the ginger on the back. I love fresh ginger. I always add it to my curries. Ginger and garlic. Well, as I say, I've only got a tiny little bowl because I already had a sandwich. I'm really going to enjoy this tomorrow. I shall warm it back up. The sweet potato, it's all gone, it's all mashy. A lot of it's broken down into the sauce, and it's made it, well, it's given it a sweetness and added, you know, a nice thickener to the sauce. I did forget to tell you when I was cooking it, I did add salt and pepper as well. I did actually season it as well, the vegetables. I forgot to show that. For some reason I forgot to press the record. But anyway, it was in there. Well, I'm going to enjoy this. Tomorrow I should make some basmati rice and have it with rice as a vegetable curry. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. A cooking video. I haven't done one for quite some time. This will be on Trev's Travels by Narrowboat, and I will also later on transfer it onto Cooking on a Narrowboat. So it'll be on both channels after probably the weekend. Well, of course, that just leaves me to say a big thank you to everybody out there. All your support is absolutely wonderful. It goes an awful long way to keeping me going and buying batteries. Anyway, big thank you goes out to you all. Don't forget, if you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe and hit that old bell notification button. That way YouTube should inform you every time I upload a new video, especially if you press the all as well, all notifications. Well, that just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching. Trevor out.